Where do you find other transaction authority opportunities? Stick around and you're going to find out on tonight's episode. But first, good evening, Agile Acquisition enthusiasts. Welcome back to the Underground Digital Tiki Bar. It's Friday night, and that means it's time for another episode of Agile Acquisitions and Alcohol. Cheers. All right, welcome back to the third episode in our three-part series on other transaction authority. In the first episode, we talked about the history of other transaction authority. In part two, we discussed the value of other transaction authority. And tonight, we're going to talk about where you find these opportunities. Other transaction authority opportunities are found in the same place you find other government opportunities. You can go to beta.sam.gov and you can look up search opportunities with other transactions identified as part of the acquisition plan. You can also look on other government research tools such as GovWin or GovTribe, as well as a number of other capable tools that are out there. When you're thinking about other transaction authority, though, it's important to know which agencies actually use it. There's actually 11 agencies that use it, and I bet you're wondering what those are. They're NASA, DOD, DOE, HHS, DHS, DOT, NIH, FAA, TSA, and DNDO, as well as ARPA. There you go. I just saved you a Google search. So you can go to each of those agencies. Now, different agencies use them to different levels. DOD is probably the most avid user of other transaction authority. Within DOD, you can look at DIU and DDS, as well as Kessel Run and some of the other Air Force innovation groups have been applying other transaction authority in some of their acquisitions over the past few years. And the thing you got to remember is with commercial solutions openings, sometimes they'll post them outside of those government points of entry that I mentioned before. So it actually helps to go to the websites for those organizations and search to see if they're posting notifications on their open opportunities or upcoming opportunities. Now, in addition to direct other transaction authorities, that is other transaction authorities where the agreements officer is executing it directly for their command or their office that they support, there's also something called consortiums. And consortiums are really broadly used within the Department of Defense. Two of the most commonly used consortiums are the CMG or C5 consortium. CMG stands for Contract Management Group, and the SOSEC consortium. This will cover most of the tech-focused other transaction authorities that are done outside of the direct agreements officers within DoD. The way these consortiums are set up is that the department would run an acquisition for a management group, kind of like a broker. That broker would then go out and open these consortiums up to interested vendors that fall within the categories that the consortium will deliver. These consortiums typically have an online form to register. It costs about $500 to register and become part of it. That's sort of the extent of the vetting process. And then when an office inside the department has a need to use OT and they don't necessarily have an agreements officer available to support them, they can route their requirements through the contract office that let the brokerage agreement or the consortium agreement. And then that will then go to the consortium and they'll run the acquisition, select the vendor, and then that vendor will come on essentially as a subcontractor to the consortium management group. Now, that might have sounded like a lot of steps because it kind of is. There is a lot of places within the consortium process for things to take a little bit longer than they might otherwise if you have an agreements officer. And the consortiums do charge a fee. So there's, just like any other assisted acquisition, there's that downside as well. But they do contain a lot of opportunities. And if you register, then you can actually see when those opportunities are coming up and which ones are appropriate for your company. Or if you're in a government agency and you're looking to use them, you have the opportunity under a broad array of capabilities that they can deliver. The SOSEC consortium that I mentioned actually covers a really broad group of other transaction consortiums within it. So it's a kind of like an umbrella group. They support NGA and AFRL, as well as Army Command under the COBRA OT. So there's a lot of, and several other groups, as the C4 ISR, which is a broad technical requirement that's run out of AFRL, is run through that consortium. So a lot of the prototyping tech development capabilities fit within these consortiums. If you're looking for a comprehensive list of OT consortiums that are out there, and there are quite a few, you can go to MITRE's link, and they have, which I'll provide that link below, and they have all of the consortiums that are available identified. Makes it really easy to track down which ones are most appropriate for your office or for your company. So there you have it. That's where you find other transaction authority opportunities. I hope you found this useful. If you did, remember to give me a thumbs up and subscribe so you get notified when our next videos come out. And until next week, cheers.